It's Kelly from Cards by Christine here with you on a Technique Thursday to share with you the vignette technique. So, I have a card for you. It's very fitting with the Christmas in July theme that we've kind of been rocking this year. And I promise it's the last one. July 29th, 2021, there are no more Technique Thursdays in July. So, you won't be seeing Christmas cards for a little bit after this. But anyways, I wanted to stick with the Christmas in July. I was inspired by this technique. Are you familiar with what a vignette is? I actually used to work for a professional photographer. So I have a lot of experience in photography, and vignette is a type of photo finish that kind of darkens or lightens. I don't know if lightening is also referred to as a vignette, but it kind of like darkens around the edges of a picture, and it really makes a difference and the finishing touch on pictures. So I used to work at a photography studio called Gullers Photography, one of the premier photographers in the area, and we always finished our pictures with vignettes. So I saw a different demonstrator doing a vignette technique, and I really ran with it because it kind of resonated with me in my past life as working at a photography studio. So you'll see here, I darken the edges around this piece of basic white that has some stamped images on it from the Tidings and Trimmings stamp set. So I took these berries and stamped them in cherry cobbler, and these leaves and stamped them in evening evergreen. And I did that already because I wanted this to fully dry. Once you stamped something and then you bring a blending brush over the top with some more ink, it can smear. So I stamped this probably half an hour ago, maybe not quite that long, but I stamped it quite a while ago so that it was good and dry before I started to use my blending brush on it. So that, there was really no rhyme or reason to how I did it, so nothing you really needed to see there. So that being said, I then am going to bring in my blending brush, and I used Soft Succulent, where's the English on here? Soft Succulent to blend around the corners and blend it kind of creeping in, but you can still see, obviously, under these stockings here, you can very much see that it's basic white. So not trying to add too much color, but just enough to really give it that finishing touch. So I'm going to pick up some Soft Succulent on my blending brush by using my blending brush in a circular motion on the top of the stamp pad. Then I'm going to start off on a piece of scrap paper and still work kind of circular or small motions to add that ink with the lightest touch as I'm moving in. So I kind of am really gonna layer this in because I don't wanna, I feel like I maybe overdid it a little bit on my sample card. Wasn't intending to go quite that dark. So I'm going to see about maybe doing this one a little lighter. We'll see. So then I'm just going to continue until all four corners are done, and then I'm going to even it out. So we've done lots of technique and tip videos on using the blending brushes, so I'm not really going to cover too much of that here, but essentially you want to keep your brush moving. You don't ever really want to be just dragging it across your paper. You'll get real streaky lines. And it is a good general rule of thumb that you start with a light hand and then just keep layering, especially if this is one of the first times you're using the blending brushes and don't quite have the hang of how to do that. It's always a good practice to just make sure that you're easing in, maybe is a way of saying it. And I've used blending brushes many, many times, and I'm still learning. Every time I use them, I seem to learn something. So I think I like this compared to the sample card, and honestly, neither of them look bad, but it's a little less inked up than the sample. When I get it on my mats, maybe I'll change my mind and come back and add some more. I may do that, we'll see. But anyways, so you're taking your color and adding it to the edges to really frame in your stamped image, or your focal image, I should say. So to be honest with you, you can use the vignette technique without even stamping behind. The stamping really kind of draws that attention in already, so it's kind of like doubling up on the framing in of your focal image. Then to finish off this card, I got lots of mats, so I'm going to try to run over everything. I'm looking to see here if Chris has, oh, she does have a ruler. So I don't remember the measurements, so I'll have to measure some of these pieces as I go. But we have a cherry cobbler card base. It's a standard card base, so it's 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4, and burnished over with a bone folder, cherry cobbler on the base. I would also then put a basic white mat on the inside because it's a dark base. Then I have a basic white mat measuring in at, okay, so we've got 5 1/8, 5 1/8 by 3 7/8. I've got a evening evergreen mat at 5 by 3 3/4. And then our stamping layer is basic white at 4 3/4 by 3 1/2. On that layer, I used 2 stamps from the Tidings and Trimmings. We covered that before. The Berries stamp in Cherry Cobbler and the Leaf stamp in Evening Evergreen. Brought in some soft, succulent ink on our blending brush using the Vignette technique. Stamped 3 stockings from the Tiding and Trimmings set in Evening Evergreen and die cut with the corresponding dies. Stamped a sentiment in Cherry Cobbler and used a sponge on the edge to just get a little bit of red. I don't even know if you can see that. I felt like I needed just a little more red, so I used a sponge dauber on the edge to put a little bit of red on that. I used this beautiful ribbon. I don't even know off the top of my head if I know what that's called. It's in the new holiday mini catalog. Look at that beautiful texture. I know you can't see the whole card, but like, look at that beautiful texture on that ribbon. I love it. Great. It really adds a lot. Then I have 2 Evening Evergreen ivy leaves and 3 basic rhinestones using a Cherry Cobbler blend to make them red to look like holly berries. I'm like, oh, I'm not in the Christmas mindset yet, guys. All right, so that is my vignette technique and my beautiful corresponding Christmas card to go with it. What do you guys think? Have you heard of a vignette? Ooh, I'm drifting away. Have you heard of a vignette before, or did you learn something today? I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you tune in live later tonight to catch Chris for her live stamping and card making class. So I hope we have a wonderful day. Can you believe July is over? Like, I mean, not quite, but very, very close. My son's half birthday is tomorrow, so not that that means much, but I can't believe how big he's getting, and I can't believe that we are facing August and the end of summer and back to school, which actually means something for me this year. He's 3 1/2, so he's going to be starting 3K this fall. Oh, mixed feelings. Like, I just got a weird feeling in my stomach just like actually verbalizing that. So I simply cannot believe it. But anyways, I digress. I hope you guys are enjoying your summer, and even though it is fleeting by, having a great time. So I hope you have a wonderful day, and we will catch you later tonight.